Thank you. Further debate, the member from Sudbury.
Thank you, Speaker. It's my honour to give my inaugural speech today. So I'd like to begin by bonjour.
Hello.
Ane, hello. It seems fitting that I have the opportunity to smudge this afternoon at our caucus meeting because I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. Last year, I had the opportunity to spend 9 days traveling across Nunavut as part of the Governor-General Canadian Leadership Conference. And when I returned, I realized I knew more about Indigenous people who live thousands of miles from me than I did about the Indigenous people in the riding of Sudbury. And I learned that I had to be more than an ally, I had to be an activist. And one way I can do this is to recognize the importance of acknowledging our treaty territory. So in Toronto, the territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties, the ancestral traditional territories of the Ojibwe, the Anishinaabe, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit. In Sudbury, the territory is in the Robinson-Huron Treaty, and the ancestral traditional territory of the Tikmashing and Anishinaabe. And as a step towards reconciliation, it's important to recognize that these treaties belong to all of us. Speaker, I'd like to thank the previous MPP for her service to the riding. All of us in this room, we know what it means to put our names and the names of our families forward for public service. My colleague and I differed on our opinions on how to move the province forward, but we agreed on the philosophy of soft on people, hard on policy, and during the campaign, our discussions, our debates, whether public or private, were always professional. I'd also like to thank the many people that helped me in my election. I want to thank my volunteers, and I know better than to try to name all of them, and there honestly is enough time during a 20-minute speech. And it wouldn't be fair to try and narrow down the list for a speech like this because I wouldn't know where to start and I wouldn't be able to stop. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for helping me get elected. I especially want to thank you for having so much fun with me along the way. We were a serious and hard-working team, Speaker, but like the riding I represent, we believed in a work hard, play hard philosophy. And our campaign office was often filled with laughter, and I'll always be thankful that our work was fun, that it was hopeful, and that it was positive. It's important to thank the voters that trusted me with their vote. They need to know that their votes are valuable and that I'll do everything to ensure that their trust in selecting me on the ballot will be earned. Speaker, I'm not just the MPP from the riding of Sudbury. I'm a Sudburian, born and raised, and I'm proud to say that over the past 46 years, I lived in all areas of my riding, including the town of Coppercliff, where I was employed for the last 16 years. Sudbury is a fantastic city. It is a vibrant, diverse city that serves people from across the region. As I often describe it, Sudbury is small enough to have that friendly small-town feel where strangers will stop to talk to you and to help you, but not so small that everyone knows what you had for breakfast that morning. To give you a scope of the size of the riding of Sudbury, you could walk from one end of the riding of Sudbury to the other, and I have. This summer, at the tail end of the summer, I took the Rainbow Roots Camino Challenge. I walked a 28-kilometer network of trails that Rainbow Roots has helped maintain and organize throughout our city. To be clear, the Camino Challenge doesn't include all of the trails on my riding. It's just the ones that would bring you from one corner of the riding in Fielding Park to the opposite corner at Moonlight Beach. In fact, one of the many gems in Sudbury is our easy access to nature. Imagine having well-groomed nature trails within 5 minutes of your busiest streets. And that's what we enjoy in the riding of Sudbury. But it wasn't always this way. Many people who haven't seen the city in decades might remember Sudbury as the place where NASA once prepared to visit the moon. It was black rock and decimated. However, Sudbury has spent the past 40 years not only regreening our city, but also continually reducing and capturing SO2 pollution before it's released. And as a touchstone, there's now serious talk about the removal of the superstack, a landmark in Sudbury that was once the world's largest smokestack. That stack was commissioned the year I was born, and it's hard to believe that as a city we've come so far in such a short time. As a result, Speaker, Sudbury is absolutely beautiful, especially considering that the city of Greater Sudbury, which I share with a member of Nickel Belt, has over 300 lakes. The most popular lake in my riding is probably Ramsey. It's one of several beautiful lakes that are in the middle of our city. A large portion of the shoreline of Ramsey Lake is connected by 4 beaches known as Bell Park, which was named for the Bell family that willed the land to our city when they passed away. Bell Park is the home to many of our arts festivals, including the Northern Lights Festival Boreal, which is old as I am, and the Sudbury Jazz Festival, which celebrates its 10th anniversary this summer. Bell Park ends at a boardwalk that connects walkers to Science North, our Northern Science Centre, and Health Sciences North, the North's largest and the North's most important hospital. Nearby is James Jerome Field, which includes a first-class field for the Sudbury Gladiators, our city's football team. Sudbury is also home to the Sudbury Wolves, our OHL team, and probably the only OHL team to have blood as part of their logo. And this winter will be our first season with the Sudbury Five, the first Canadian professional basketball team based in Sudbury. If you were to take a boat, Speaker, across Ramsey Lake from Bell Park, you'd arrive at Laurentian University. It's a bilingual university which shares space with Huntington University, with Thornlow University, and Université de Sudbury. Laurentian's also home to CROSH, the Centre for Research on Occupational Safety and Health. This is a world-class facility that uses a field-to-lab-to-field approach to making workplaces safer. It's also the home to NOSM, the Northern Ontario School of Medicine, which allows Northern medical students the opportunity to train, to work, and most importantly, to stay in the North. As well, Sudbury is also home to 2 colleges, Cambrian College and College Boreal. And I'm proud to say, Speaker, I'm a graduate of both Laurentian University and Cambrian College, and my oldest son, Sam, recently graduated from College Boreal, our French language college, and similar to their slogan, Son choix c'est Boreal.
My choice is Boreal.
Sudbury is the gateway to the North. Northern Ontario is where we measure distance by hours. It's where we buy Halloween costumes that will fit over top of our snowsuits. It's where we fought to have our hospitals and our cancer treatment centres in the North. Despite what the Premier said on the campaign trail, Sudbury doesn't want to travel to Toronto for the best care in the world, because we expect the best care in the world to be in the North, because that's where we live and that's where our friends and our families live. Sudburyans deserve solutions that work for them. For example, as the gateway to the North, Sudbury deserves to have the 4-laning of the final 68 kilometres of Highway 69 finally completed after years and years of delay, so we can reduce the number of fatalities on that highway and so that our northern businesses can become more successful. Speaker, obviously this summer, the summer of 2018, was an important date for all of us in this House. And I want to congratulate my colleagues on their success in the election. However, I want to talk briefly about the summer of 2017. 2017 was significant in my family because it was the year that my wife Pam and I celebrated our 20th anniversary. And her parents, Philip and Suzanne, who are in the gallery today, celebrated their 50th. And her grandparents, Rolly and Colombe, celebrated their 75th anniversary. And my parents, Speaker, Bev and Bill, they celebrated their first wedding anniversary last year, or 2 years ago. You see, Speaker, my mom and my stepfather eloped 2 years ago. And when I asked my mom why they eloped, she said, "Jamie, I'm 70 years old. How many romantic things do you think I get to do?" And she's right. The world needs more romance. We need to lead with our hearts, and I'm going to tell you my love story. Speaker, my wife and I met in high school. We weren't dating back then. We were just friends, going to see a movie together. It was March break. Everyone else we knew was out of town. It was cold out. And Sudbury is a city located in the middle of a meteorite crater, and you can't really see more than 200 meters in any direction because of all the hills. And Dances with Wolves, that's filmed in big sky country. You can see for miles. So I'm swiveling my head back and forth in the movie. And all of a sudden, like I'm struck by Cupid's arrow, I can't stop staring at my wife. I can't look away no matter what, until she caught me. Pam looked at me, and I snapped my head back as quick as I could. And with knots in my stomach, I prayed for a chunk of the ceiling to fall down and kill me, but it didn't. More than 25 years later, I'm proud to say that I've been in love with my wife for more than half of my life. If you see me smiling, I'm probably thinking about Pam. She is one of the smartest, most loving people I've ever met, and none of the achievements I've ever had in my life would be possible without Pam. And as I often say, this world needs more Pams. Our proudest achievements are our children, Sam, Thomas, and Ella, who continue to inspire me. Sam just turned 22 yesterday. At 6'4" and over 280 pounds, he was a quarterback's nightmare when he played for the Sudbury Gladiators. Now he works in instrumentation, programming tiny machinery. My son Sam is the definition of strength and gentleness. Thomas is 17. I've always described Thomas as thoughtful, not just because he cares about people, because he's always thinking about things. He's researching new information and looking for different points of view. And Ella, my daughter, is my youngest at 13. She's both competitive and caring. She's a competitive dancer at Dance Evolution in Sudbury, but she always compares her performance against how well she could have done and never against how anyone else does. And that's probably why she has such a strong network of friends. I'm proud to say that my children are bilingual, and my wife and her family are French. Et moi, je suis anglais.
And me, I'm an Anglophone, but French is in my heart.
I'm proud to say that I've set a personal goal to improve my French during my time here at Queen's Park, which has been on my bucket list for years. To understand how I got here, Speaker, it's important for me to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in poverty. My sister and I were raised by a single mom who worked as a secretary, and we lived in geared-to-income housing. I need to repeat that. My mom worked full-time, and we couldn't afford to pay rent, so we lived in poverty, just like thousands of Ontarians do today and might do after Bill 47 is passed. My mom was a role model to me. She insisted that I go to post-secondary school because that was the key to a better life. So when I graduated from high school, we took out student loans and I worked 2 part-time jobs. And I was the first in my family to graduate from college, but there were no jobs, let alone careers, just short-term contracts with minimum wage. Speaker, I thought I had it wrong, so I went to university. And I was the first in my family to graduate from university. But still no jobs, just short-term contracts with minimum wage, sometimes 20 cents more. But those aren't careers. In fact, I spent the first decade of my adult life working short-term contracts and precarious jobs while trying to whittle away a mountain of student loans. A decade. I did everything right. I followed all the rules. I had a diploma. I had a degree. I was married. We were trying to raise my son, Sam. And my wife and I, because of this, had to wait 4 years to have Thomas. My wife and I were waiting for our precarious jobs to become careers. We were waiting for a light at the end of the tunnel. It was never coming until I got a job at a unionized workplace, until I became a steelworker. In 2002, I was hired as a steelworker at the Coppercliff Smelter. I was 30 years old, and for the first time in my life, I had a career. Not a job where you couldn't plan for the future, but a real career where you could raise a family. A career where my wife and I bought a house and where we had my daughter, Ella. I was a furnace operator, and I belonged to a union that fought for workplace dignity, a union that fought for fairness, and a union that fought for safety. Speaker, this world is thirsty for leadership, and my union gave me the training and opportunities to become a leader. They celebrated with me when I was successful, and they supported me when I was struggling. I would not be here today if it wasn't for the steelworkers. I wouldn't be in this house, in this chair, or in the position I have with my family. And so on behalf of all the steelworkers who have believed in me, who have helped me, who have trained me and encouraged me, I would like to thank the International President, Leo Gerard. From one Sudburian to another, from one steelworker and Local 6500 to another, thank you, brother, and I look forward to your retirement. There was a time when I honestly didn't think the government cared about people like me, working class, poor. I didn't think that they hated me. I just thought they were focused on their wealthy and well-connected friends, and if they hurt me or helped me, it was incidental to the real plans. I mean, I literally was 5 years old living in poverty when the government promised they would end child poverty. And more than 40 years later, still waiting. Just look at this government and their most recent attacks on the working class and the poor. In their first 3 months, they already cancelled the basic income pilot project. They cut the promised increase to OW and ODSP to half. They cancelled the hiring plan that would double the number of Ministry of Labour inspectors. They sent a memo to the current inspectors ordering them to stop proactive workplace inspections. And their new plan? Weaker labour laws, taking away paid sick days, clogging up our healthcare system with wasteful sick day notes, and freezing the minimum wage for another 4 years. They're freezing it again. The same way the Conservative government froze minimum wage for 8 years the last time they were in power, which is why we're in this mess in the first place. It's shameful. You can understand, Speaker, why I didn't think government cared about people like me. But in 2009, we went on strike for a year, and the NDP was the only party to show up. Think about that. We had 10 picket lines scattered across the city of Greater Sudbury, 10 of them, active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire year, and the NDP was the only party to show up. And not just show up, but actively support us on the picket lines. They spoke at our rallies, they marched in the streets, they spoke at Queen's Park, they spoke in the House of Commons. The other parties didn't even stop to have a conversation with us. It seems like government consultation with workers is about as effective then as it is today. Meanwhile, I met my party leader on a picket line. It was the middle of the night at Garson Mine. And this wasn't a photo op because people don't go to a sandpit for a photo op. There was no press there. Andrea was standing beside a fire barrel, trying to keep warm while speaking to striking steelworkers in the middle of a Sudbury winter. And Speaker, it doesn't matter if you're the leader of the NDP or you're the neighbour down the street, you walk a picket line with me and I'm going to stand by you forever. Speaker, I'm thrilled to have been named the Labour critic for my party because I'm working class and I'm proud of it. I've spent nearly 2 decades of my life representing workers. I've been involved with my Labour Council for nearly a decade, and I was their president for the past 5 years. As a steelworker, I've had the opportunity to represent workers on 3 continents. And in my own workplace, I've dealt with everything from firings to fatalities. Before this election, I was literally blue-collar. And last year, that changed to orange because mining requires high-vis work clothes, but works for my party. And you get the picture. I have a favorite work boot. I have a favorite type of glove. I showered and changed and then dry at work, and for what it's worth, I prefer coveralls to a 2-piece shirt and pants. To me, Labour is more than a job title. It includes the things that mean the most to me. It includes dignity, it includes fairness, it includes safety for workers. Organized labour is the thing that saved my family and myself from poverty and precarious work. It is literally the reason that I'm here today, and that's why I'm so proud to be the Labour critic. Most importantly, Speaker, being a member of provincial parliament is all of our opportunity to make life better, to make it better for every senior who can't afford to retire, for every student who's graduated to a life of precarious work and that mountain of debt, and for every parent who struggles without so their children can be successful, and most importantly, for every 5-year-old whose mom is working full-time and still can't make ends meet. Thank you, Speaker. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.